Newport, Rhode Island. You know the mansions, the jazz fest, the yacht crowd, but dig deeper into this South Coast gem and you'll find a city built on blood, spies, secret tunnels, and ghosts that won't stay buried. Mass pirate executions on what's now a parking lot. British prison ships starving people in the harbor. Underground passages and forgotten fleets. These are the unbelievable true stories most tourists and even locals never hear. I'm South Coast Hack, and today we're peeling back the layers on Newport's raw, documented past. Stick around. You won't believe what's hiding in plain sight. Let's start with the pirates, because Newport was knee-deep in the golden age of piracy. This wasn't just some rum-soaked adventure. It was big business with brutal consequences. In July 1723, right at Gravelly Point, yeah, that blink and you miss it spot near Long Wharf that's basically a parking area today, British forces from HMS Greyhound dragged in Captain Charles Harris and his 25 crew members from the ship the Ranger. They were all hanged in what became the largest public mass execution in Rhode Island history. Not a quick affair. Bodies were tarred and left swinging through the summer heat as a very public "don't try this" message to other pirates working these waters. Easton's Point, the oldest neighborhood in Newport, saw more of this pirate justice than you'd expect. Newport was a hub, raiding ships, stashing loot, and some pirates straight up retiring here with their ill-gotten gains. Wealth flowed in, but so did the nooses. Imagine walking past those tarred corpses on your way to the docks. Brutal. And locals say some of those spirits never really left the area. Next time you're grabbing a selfie down by the wharf, remember, this spot has seen more death than most horror movies. Fast forward to the Revolutionary War and things got even darker. December 1776. British forces swoop in and occupy Newport like it's their personal naval base. Deep harbor, strategic spot. They turned this city into a major garrison. What followed for locals? Years of hell. Prison ships anchored in the harbor became floating nightmares. Disease, starvation, death. Accounts from the time paint a grim picture that doesn't always make the glossy history books. Patriots were expelled. Sympathizers watched their presses get shut down. The British even cranked out their own loyalist paper, the Newport Gazette, while the original Newport Mercury folks buried type or got out of Dodge. Spy games were everywhere. Ann Bates, for one, played peddler while feeding intel to the British. On the flip side, bold American ops like kidnapping British General Richard Prescott kept the resistance alive. The occupation wrecked the economy, tore up the town with fortifications, but it also set the stage for the French alliance that helped turn the war. Newport didn't just host tea parties during this mess, it survived real occupation trauma. Next time you stroll the waterfront, picture prison ships instead of yachts. Puts those summer cottages in perspective, doesn't it? Now for the stuff that sounds like a conspiracy but has real roots. Newport's secret tunnels. Stories persist of underground passages connecting colonial homes, the waterfront, and key spots used for smuggling, quick escapes during occupations, or stashing goods. Some are documented in old records. Others are local lore that just won't die. Walk certain streets and you can't help but wonder what's under your feet. Out in the bay, more forgotten gems. Rhode Island had a quarantine station and hospital history, complete with body thefts for medical schools back in the day. No wonder some say spirits hang around the lighthouse. Then there's the Portuguese fishing fleet of the late 1800s. These guys rolled up seasonally with their Providence boats in a slick system of multiple small dories working together. It revolutionized local cod fishing until the fleet mostly vanished after 1915. And don't get me started on the 20th century military leftovers. World War II torpedo testing on Rhode Island. Cold War sonar experiments off Gould Island. Stuff so classified that fishermen still snag their nets on the remnants. The bay isn't just pretty water. It's a graveyard of secrets and innovation. Unbelievable what's still down there. With all that death and drama, the ghost stories practically write themselves, and some are tied to hard facts. The White Horse Tavern, operating since 1673 and America's oldest, has reports going back to the early 1700s. One wild tale? A murder conviction that supposedly relied on a ghost's testimony. Yeah, you read that right. Over at Belcourt Castle, Oliver Belmont, the Gilded Age millionaire, went all in on the paranormal. Legend says he reserved actual furniture for the ghosts he believed lived there, including a wandering monk. Staff and visitors still report unexplained activity in that pile of antiques. Fort Adams and other sites carry soldier hauntings from the hardships of war and duty. And while we're in the region, the broader New England vampire panic of the late 1800s, exhumations to stop supposed undead family curses, shows how superstition filled the gaps when disease and tragedy hit isolated communities. Newport's history of shipwrecks, executions, and epidemics fed right into it. These aren't jump scare nonsense. They're echoes of real people who lived, fought, and died here. Respect the stories, even if you don't believe the bumps in the night. Newport, Rhode Island. Glitz on the surface. Unbelievable true history underneath. Pirate warnings rotting in the sun. Occupation survival. Tunnels under your feet. And ghosts that refuse to move on. Which one hit you hardest? The mass hanging site that's now a parking lot? The prison ships? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. If you want more South Coast deep dives, scanner highlights from Fall River to New Bedford, or on location at one of these spots, hit subscribe and the bell. Check southcoasthack.com for the blog version and more local true stories. Like, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious out there. This coast has endless secrets.